When you get deeper into science, it seems to become less inviting and less friendly. And I just want to share my love of science with the world and help kids who want to learn.
I actually grew up in a concrete jungle. I grew up in the city of Philadelphia, so playing outside in the schoolyard was a concrete slab, so I didn't have too many interactions with nature growing up besides flipping over a stone and seeing lots of insects and being really fascinated, or watching birds, or just like little city interactions of nature.
I was born and raised here, and when I was going through elementary school, Willow Bend would come into my classroom and do programs with us. And so as a young girl, that's how I learned about different wildlife around Flagstaff, and I learned more about sustainability. Growing up, I always had an interest towards that, and I think that it started with Willow Bend.
So Willow Bend is an organization that provides environmental education classes for students, but not just for students in the schools, but also for the community. So we have workshops, we have science Saturdays, we have adult workshops. So we also do environmental kinds of topics for families on the weekends, as well as for children.
I know they do some herbs, they do some honey, they do fermentation, various things that people in the community are willing to teach.
I consider myself just an all-encompassing earth scientist, whether it's geography, geology. I just love understanding how our planet works and then being able to share that knowledge with other people. And I really like being able to teach kids because I think science is so fascinating and can be so inspiring. The more we know, the more interesting the world can be.
I have a couple of really strange degrees. I have a degree in forestry, and then decided that I was going to get into education and wound up with a doctorate in math education. And taught at a couple of schools here and started a pond at the other end of town.
Now that I'm in college, I have been studying environmental studies, and I had an opportunity to become a volunteer here. And it was really important to me to bring it full circle because I really do believe that Willow Bend coming into my classroom when I was a little kid shaped me into what I'm passionate about now, and I wanted to give back because they definitely changed my perspective on environmentalism.
Kind of knowing what Willow Bend does in the community as far as education, and my own interest in the environment and preserving it and exploring it, and it sounded like a good place to put some of my volunteer energy.
A friend of mine indicated that they were going to build a new facility here, and I realized that they were interested in what was going on in Flagstaff, and I also realized that it's a low water area, and it didn't have a lot of water here, and it was something they're going to have to plan for. So I've always been involved in that as well.
So this is Willow Bend's home, and when we built Willow Bend, which was in 2002, we decided to build it in a way that kind of matches our entire mission of being environmentally sustainable and a source of education. So these are our water harvesting barrels. So it's being collected off of the building, and we actually have a pump, so when it's not frozen solid in the winter, we can actually irrigate our gardens with this water. We also have these south-facing windows. So this building is oriented east-west, and the south-facing windows ensure that we get the most sunlight in the winter to keep warm, and also in the summer we can close the shades and keep it cool inside. The building itself is constructed out of straw bales, and that is a good insulator, and if you come in you can actually see a window where the straw is visible. So these gardens are actually on county land. This is a public space, and our gardens are managed 100% by volunteers. So we have Susan Lamb and our other wonderful volunteer base that come out here on their own time. They have their own schedule, and they upkeep all the gardens from finding new native plants to put, to mulching, weeding, putting out habitat like these bird feeders for the local wildlife, and just making it a beautiful place to be.